Hello, beautiful manifestors. It is Olivia Grace, and I'm back with another video. It is day 6 of my 30-day challenge. I'm making a video every day for 30 days, so if you guys would like to benefit from that, then you should subscribe. If you're new here, I am Olivia Grace. This is the Master Manifestors channel. Here I talk about law of assumption, manifestation, all that good stuff. So yeah, today we're just going to be talking about affirmations. There's actually so much that we could say about affirmations, but I'm just going to talk about some things that can make affirmations work really well for you and really quickly for you. And I have just a couple things that I'm going to talk about. This won't be too long, but yeah, hello everybody. Hi Ashley, hi Summer, hi Seize the Day, hi the Jessica Cash, hi Born to Sing, hi Ty, hi Ashley. Okay, so number one is to claim your affirmation. This is something that I talk about in a few videos, where instead of like coming from the aspect of, okay, I don't have this thing and I'm gonna keep saying this thing until I do get this thing, right? Instead of coming from that, which can also work, but this works much quicker. This is like shifting instantly. It's claiming and assuming, right? Assuming your affirmation is true, is real now. Now, before I continue, I saw someone ask on my live or on one of my comments, do you have to believe your affirmations, right? What if you don't believe your affirmations? And you guys, the whole reason you're affirming is because you don't believe your affirmations. So no, you don't need to believe your affirmations. It's not about believing it, right? And this is kind of a sidetrack, but we're gonna go with it. A lot of people stop themselves from making an assumption, from taking on a new state, from claiming something wonderful because they're like, I don't believe that. And that's just not what you're doing, right? Like, yeah, you want to believe it, but what gets you to believe it when you don't is the repetition, is continuously suggesting it to yourself, okay? So if you're basically going into it and saying, well, I don't believe it, so I'm not going to claim it, I'm not going to entertain it, I'm not even going to think that that's something available to me because I don't believe it, you're literally not giving yourself the chance to believe it, right? It's something that, like, sometimes I feel like I'm going off on such a tangent, but this is what wants to come through. Sometimes, like, what you're affirming is calling you into a new state, something that you've never had before, you've never been it before. It doesn't mean that this isn't, like, everything is possible, number one. Everything is real, okay? That is the foundational belief. That's the foundational understanding. And when you have that foundational understanding that literally everything is real, right? That everything is already possible and happening, then it's easier for you to just move into another truth without feeling like, well, I don't see evidence of this, right? Because we're not judging off of evidence, right? You're judging off of what do you choose? Because if everything is available, right? This is the understanding, y'all. If everything is available, it's available. Like, it's not about whether it's here or you see it or whatever. What you see is not all that's available. That's like me saying that, well, I'm in Atlanta and it's hot here, right? So that's all that it is. I guess it's hot everywhere. And the only way, the whole world looks just like Atlanta, and that's just what it is. Like, no, it's not. It might be where I'm occupying. It might be where I'm dwelling, right? But that's not the only thing that's available. It's just where I'm currently at. And so this is the same thing with your reality, with your states, with all of that, is that what you're seeing is not what's just available, okay? It's just where you're consciously dwelling. And so if everything is possible, is now, is happening, is already done, then all that's left to do is for you to claim it. All right, so now this gets back to what I'm talking about. Now, if you're someone who is still trying to understand the law of assumption, still like, I don't really believe that everything is possible, I don't really, know all of this stuff, like, I still feel like everything I want is very impossible. Okay, then we go into the repetitive, the robotic affirming, right? Which is the other state. Instead of coming from, okay, I know that all is real. And even if I don't believe this or see this to be true or real, I know that all is real and that I am the operant power that gets to decide and choose, right? So instead of claiming, you're coming more from, I don't believe this is real, but I do believe that if I keep repeating something to my mind, that my mind will accept it and express it, right? Which is another way of manifesting. So when you're doing this repetitively, this is the reason why robotic affirming works, and why, just like, here's what you're doing when you're robotic affirming, or when you're repeating and repeating and repeating, is you are giving it's like watering the new story, okay? Because when your old story is very active in your brain, when you're old, like when you are, your what's the word? Your automatic mind track, right? Is with the old story. Automatically, your mind is gonna think against you, against your favor, think, oh, this is impossible. Oh, doubt is like that's where you're starting from. And so that story, this is why sometimes when you're like, oh, I'm affirming for a few minutes, a couple times a week, but all those other times, your dominant story is still playing out. This is about to send me into another tangent, but it's important. Okay, so when you are like, something that allows you to shift your story is awareness, right? Because a lot of people will say, no, I'm thinking of only the new story and this and this and that, and I've totally accepted it, but you're not aware of yourself when you're actually planning for, yeah, I know 3 months from now I'm not gonna have that still, so, or I don't think it's gonna manifest by then, or, yeah, I know I'm saying this, but here's what's actually true. You're not seeing how much you're actually still identified with the old story, okay? And so, once again, when you become, like when you get into a certain level of awareness, and awareness is just being aware of you, right? So you're being you. There's a part of you that's being you, that's watching this video, right? And there's a part of you that is aware that you're watching this video. There's a part of you that if you were to wonder, what am I doing? There's a part of you that's knowing what you're doing, right? So there's a part of you that's doing, and there's a part of you aware in the doing. Most of us are wrapped up in the doing, right? We're wrapped up in, doing whatever it is that we're doing, reacting to life, right? And we're not observing ourselves. So we're not noticing when we're saying, yeah, money, I'm rich now. Money is abundantly available to me. But you're moving in a couple of months and you're like, okay, where's the cheapest rent? Those two actions, those two states, those two expectancies is coming from two different states of mind. And one of them is coming from who you really are believing that you are, right? So, all right, now, when you're not in awareness, right, this is where robotic affirming comes in handy. When you're someone who's like, dude, I'm not aware of myself. I'm not aware of what I'm doing. It's fine, right? Meditation is something that can help with that. But this is where being repetitive helps, right? So this is where, like, basically drenching your mind in whatever story it is that you want to tell now comes in handy, right? So just repeating. It's like this, it's like this, it's like this. It's like I said, for those of you who are doing the highest timeline challenge, when you're robotic affirming, it's best to keep it short because you want it to be easy for your mind to keep its attention on, right? If you have a whole long ass or 5 affirmations that you're doing, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm not gonna remember 5. I'm not gonna be able to repeat 5 affirmations more than like twice, okay? But if it's one statement that implies your end, then you can repeat that over and over and over and over and over and over, right? And what this does is it drowns out the old story. So now, like when we talk about the awareness that I was just talking about, when you're aware, you can catch yourself in the middle of it. You can catch yourself in the middle of identifying with the old story and say, oh yeah, that's not what I chose. I chose this, right? But if you don't have that awareness, then just keep repeating it and it's gonna drown out that other story, right? Okay. Next, a good, powerful time to affirm is when you're falling asleep and also while you're already sleeping. So when you're falling asleep, you're in sats. This is another method that Neville talks about called the lullaby method, which is lulling yourself to sleep with a phrase, right? Some of his people did like, isn't it wonderful? Or, whatever. You can take one phrase I just read a success story on Reddit a few days ago or a week ago or so, and someone was talking about how he got himself out of like $100,000 in debt or something crazy, something cool he did, but just by repeating a phrase while falling to sleep. Okay, so you can do that, but also while you're sleeping, putting on a sleep tape, you can also put on your own affirmations, right? Like put them on and pair it and play them while you're sleeping. Okay, so while you're falling asleep and while you're sleeping, your mind is wide open. Okay, your subconscious mind is wide open. You can keep it all the way on the lowest volume, but your mind is absorbing, and it makes it pretty effortless, right? Where you're not having to say, okay, here's my task I have to do. Now, at the same time, I will also say that I think it's very powerful to affirm in the morning, right? When you're going into your day, I always suggest doing techniques like the earlier the better, because the way I kind of look at reality is like I'm living the same day over and over again, right? Like I'm living the same, and not the same day as if nothing's changing, but like this day is new. This day has nothing to do with what happened yesterday or anything like that. Like this day is new into itself. So it's going to be what I claim it to be. But when you kind of just go into your day, if you go into your day unconsciously, you're going to meet your unconscious assumptions. So you're going to meet the things that you've basically been believing and thinking and assuming. And then now you're trying to kind of like undo that. You're trying, like with your affirmations, you're like, oh my God, like this person was rude to me. My boss was an asshole to me. My bank account's in the negative. Now I need to affirm and make myself feel better instead of standing from the, a neutral place and taking yourself higher, right? So when you first wake up, your mind also is still wide open, right? When you first wake up, before you even get out the bed, but prepave, right? This is something that Abraham Hicks would talk about. Prepave your day. How do you want it to go? How do you want it to feel? Who do you want to be in this day? Because it doesn't have to be who you've been, right? All right. And last but not least is revision. Okay. So affirming, like I've always had this. This is what we've been talking about, right? I've always had this. It's always been like this for me. I've always and like I keep saying, the revision way closes the gap. It closes the gap between I'm the version that doesn't have it and I want to become the version that does. And have I done enough to do that? Like, no, I've always been that. I've always been that. And you guys, if you want to turn your revision up, do re-see things, you guys. And let me tell you this right now, okay? I love y'all so much, and I get it, right? It sounds crazy. Like revision sounds crazy. When I first heard about revision, I skipped over it. I was like, that don't even make no sense, right? But I was applying all the stuff from the law of assumption and all of it was working. So I was like, let me just see. Let me just try, right? And it worked immediately, okay? And it's so powerful, but you guys, you stay in overcomplicating. You stay in, but I don't get it. I don't get it. What do I do? What do I do? Y'all, literally, it's so simple. What happened? You didn't want it to go like that? How did you want it to go? Say that instead. That's it. What happened? You didn't like how it went? Okay, how would you have rather it had gone? See it happening like that. That's it. There's no anything else. There's no, I don't know, fucking pot and cauldron that you gotta boil something and toil and shit. Like you just what was it that happened that you didn't like? Re-say it, re-see it, re-feel it, re-know it, re-choose it, re-assume it. That's it. That's all you're doing. It's super simple. It's so simple that it seems unbelievable. And the thing about it is that you're not going to experience, right? You're not going to really understand it until you do it. I'll tell you guys a little quick revision story and then I'm probably going to hop off. But I was pulling out the neighborhood, right? And as I was pulling out, one of my neighbors, they pulled out at the same time. So our cars are facing this way. And as I drove past him, his window was down and he was just looking funny, like out the car. Like he was looking like he was squinting like this, and I couldn't tell if he was like trying to like give me a look or if he was just like, he couldn't see, but my mind went with, oh, he's looking at me crazy, and like went down this whole track of like, oh, like he's probably like this and like that. And he's thinking that all of this stuff. I didn't have not one conversation with this guy. Right. And so I realized because I'm aware, right? So I'm aware of myself telling the story. Even though I felt a way about it, I'm aware of the story that I'm telling, right? And is that the story I would prefer? Not, is that the story that makes sense? Is that probably what it is? Is whatever? No, what would I prefer, right? And so I was like, you know what? I'm first of all, I'm putting him in that role, and I don't need to put him in that role, right? What would I rather? Right? What would I have rathered? I would have rathered that when I'm pulling in, instead of him pulling out, him back up into his driveway and let me pass and wave, right? So I see that happening instead. And I choose that that's what's happening. And when it comes back in my mind and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, this person was like this or like that. No, they weren't. They waved, right? I just changed it in my mind. Y'all, the same day I pulled back out to go somewhere, the same man is walking on the sidewalk and he walks in front of my car and waves at me. I was like, what the heck? Right? So that's just a little simple story, you guys. But revision is life-changing, okay? I say that because it just shows how revision works, okay? It's just changing. What happened? What would you rather happen than see that happening? I didn't go into SATs. I didn't do all this stuff. I just redecided how it went. Okay? All right. Okay, you guys, I'm just seeing how to deal with anxiety when manifesting. Sometimes the news story seems hard when I'm dealing with anxiety. I get that. So just take the moments when you're not anxious. Like for me, I personally am not someone who's I don't like to force myself when I'm already in a bad state, okay? Because I feel like it adds pressure to pressure. So just take care of yourself while you're experiencing that. But then when you're in a clear-minded state, go back to your new story. Okay. It's like, honestly, you guys, your anxiety doesn't matter to your manifestation. Okay. It matters to you. You matter to you. Your mental health matters to you, but your anxiety is not going to stop your manifestation unless your anxiety puts you in a state where you're never entertaining the new story at all. Okay. All right. How can you notice when you're in the news story, like your news story is playing out? Well, when you're in the news story, you'll know. You'll know because you'll be feeling different, thinking different, and experiencing different things. I feel like I'm obsessing over SP too much. What are your thoughts about that? I don't advise obsessing over anybody except yourself. I don't advise giving your power and your energy to other people. Like, and to be honest, in my opinion, obsessing over your SP is literally the reason why you're not getting the result that you want. Okay. Coaches tell us that there's no requirement and rules when manifesting. So does that mean I can do whatever I want to manifest? Yeah, it does. But what it is that you have to believe that whatever you're doing is what's working for you. Okay? There's no rules or you have to do this or you have to do that. What I always say is to do what works for you. Okay? Because it's different for everybody. And so if you're looking at what works for everybody else and that doesn't work for you and you're trying to force something to work for you, right? That's going to frustrate you. Just do what works for you. But what I will say, and this is just my opinion, is that you can't stay in the old story. You can't sit here and complain about how everything is going wrong and you never get what you want and expect to get what you want, okay? Some people say, I affirm that I can, and all right, but to me, I don't really see that. How to attract a breakup with a narcissist that you have kids with. I want a peaceful separation with no drama. He doesn't want to let me go. Okay, I'm gonna be absolutely real with you, Queen Love, because you're prolonging that by staying, okay? It's not about what he wants. You wanna go, so you go, right? That's it. You can't, the first step, number one, is to stop allowing what other people want to make decisions for you, all right? Number two, if you want the peaceful separation, then just see yourself having peace. Maybe see if he's a good dad and you want him in your kid's life, then maybe you can see him coming to get them and he's, you know, you guys are amicable, you know, you guys are getting along, like it's smooth, everything's copacetic, you know. But sorry, somebody's calling you. Let's not give him the power over whether you leave or not, okay? And let me tell you this, you guys, as someone who dealt with a narcissist in a toxic relationship that stayed for 4 years because I was scared, I didn't want to go, he doesn't want to let me go, oh, I'm comfortable here, he loves me. You're just wasting your time. And when, like, your life will improve, like, as soon as you freaking leave them. And you'll look back like, damn, I wish I would have done it sooner. But this is the harsh reality about it is that you're going to continue to live that life and deal with what you deal with until you leave. And that's just that. All right. I love you guys so freaking much. You guys are amazing. I'm intending that this prospers you immensely. I'm absolutely sure that it has. I will absolutely see you guys in a video tomorrow. And I'm sending you guys infinite, infinite love.